Good evening, my friends. Are you here for another story? Then come on in. Have a drink, a bite to eat, and settle in by the fire. For tonight, I have quite the tale to tell. Are you ready? Good. Then let us begin. This latest addition to Phantasmal Puppy's true accounts is not like most videos on here. This one is actually intended to be both listened to and actually watched. For those of you that prefer listening to my stories rather than watching, don't worry, you can still do that. I'll be reading most of the information on the screen. Considering the nature of the story, I feel like I should share some proof with you in this case. Especially seeing how it involves a character of now creepypasta levels of internet fame. So, let us dive right into this true tale of horror, in a story I like to call One Scary Peach. Now, I hadn't planned on actually diving into stories regarding the area I'm in now until a bit farther down the road. In fact, the person who plays a key character in this story actually has shared and been a part of a few events, both creepy and funny. It was going to be introduced much later in a collab, but, well, looks like you're going to be on this channel a lot sooner than I thought, K-Witch. For the record, K-Witch is just her temporary moniker, because she has yet to get a Reddit, YouTube channel, Twitter, or anything else up so I could link to hers. She pretty much handed me the reins to come up with one, so once she comes up with something more awesome than that, I'll post it in the description below. To begin, I was perusing my Facebook feed when I came across a specific article. It was one of those reposted ones with a long testimony from the person posting it. Seeing as I am in several paranormal, true crime, and just general horror groups, I figured it was just from one of those. I skimmed the article a bit since I had scrolled halfway down the page before I decided to see which group had shared it. Imagine my surprise when I realized the whole thing was not shared by one of my horror groups, but my own friend. So, let's play a game. I will read most of the first sentence and you folks at home can complete it. K-Witch starts her post with, "My kids fell victim to..." Now, what do you suppose her kids fell victim to? Do you suppose it was A. Slenderman's latest proxy, B. Leftovers from the creepy clown epidemic, C. Learning the horrors of the dark web, or D. Pizzagate's latest scandal? Go on, guess. I'll give you a moment. Choice made? If you pick D, then, depending on which theory you follow, you're probably right. Because it was this freaking bird. I will now show you the post itself. For those of you listening rather than watching, no worries. I'll read off everything in the video that is of importance. And honestly, there are a couple of verb tenses here and there, because she wrote this when she was livid. So, I'm reading the actual word in its place. K-Witch's post read, "My kids fell victim of Momo. I've officially banned YouTube and YouTube Kids from my home. I still can't get over the horrified, oh crap face they made when I showed the image and asked them about it. They tried to lie to protect the family from dying." There's something you all need to understand. I personally know these kids. When I first came to the Midwest, K-Witch and her family lived in the apartment across from me. I helped watch these kids on my days off sometimes. One of them was just so freaking adorable because he never could say my name right. And the other two? I'm just guessing they have a sensitive streak like their mama, because both the least ones, as we call them where I came from, plopped down with me when I was venting about a long day. And until you've had someone who just started walking toddle over to you for attention out of everybody in the room when you're having a bad day, then you cannot comprehend the levels of cuteness that is. As for K-Witch herself, that lady was pretty much the neighborhood negotiator, Her whole family had a really rough year the year I stayed across from them, but she still took time out of her day to try to help people and mediate disagreements, even to the detriment of her own emotional health. For example, there were occasions where we had neighbors who dragged half the block into their issues, and K-Witch would still help them. It got to the point where I had to step in. And let me tell you, us mountain women are a force to be reckoned with, especially those among us who've grown up in the middle of toxic family corner and opioid crisis street. Especially when our days off are already spent helping our physically and mentally disabled roommates with their problems, and we're running on a severe lack of sleep. But that's a tale for another video. So too long didn't read. This family was awesome, and I really take things happening to them to heart. Hearing that these little boogers, one who was just learning to walk, and the other who could barely talk when I last saw them, were keeping their mouths shut out of fear that someone would kill their family. And that's about 50 tons of oh heck no with a heaping helping of let me at 'em involved. As the post continues, K-Witch goes on to say, "When I let them know everything was okay and we were all safe, they broke down crying, admitting they knew about it. I asked them one by one. My 3-year-old lied, then admitted and cried, and then took a long time to answer that Momo was trying to get her to kill herself. My 7-year-old lied, then cried, then said he was scared to tell me because he didn't want any of us to die. Explained what Momo had told him to do, and a few of the random videos he saw her on. He also explained that some of the videos of her face would randomly pop up without saying anything, almost like it was warning kids that she's always there and always watching. This is real." K-Witch goes on to say that sightings of this latest resident of Creepypasta Town has been going on for some time, and that she's glad that she had child locks to hopefully keep her kids from seeing it for a while. Further down in the post, she posts a video from one of her parenting groups that has a few clips and explains a bit about the Momo situation. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard of this creature at this point, considering it has been blared all over international news. For those of you that haven't, I'll throw in a quick rundown of what Momo is and why she seems to keep popping up everywhere. Momo isn't actually a monster, but a sculpture created by a Japanese artist named Keisuke Iso, who created the unsettling creature as an exhibit for an art show at a Tokyo museum back in 2016. Photos of Mother Bird, as she was originally named, made their way onto the internet onto what was basically a Japanese social media platform, where she was given her new moniker and sent off to garner urban legend fame. That might have ended there, but then somebody got the brilliant idea of using Mother Bird to scare small children. And adults. I mean, I think she kinda looks like an uka who just chugged a cup of espresso, but still, that's something you want to pop up on a video like something from Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, when I was first indoctrinated into the internet subculture, I had my fair share of innocence-losing videos. I think we all had that one friend who was like, "Come here, I want to show you something." And you, being the naive kid you were, thought, "Oh, there's nothing they can do to traumatize me." Famous last thoughts before being introduced to YouTube poops, Newgrounds, and some very bad hentai. I couldn't hear the word rabbit for a month without going beet red. Damn you! But at my late age of, 18? When I encountered stuff like the supposedly cursed images and creepypastas, I was expecting to see this wild world of disturbing images. I can't imagine how a kid who is 3 is going to feel when Mother Bird pops up in one of their charming and relatively calm cartoons, with the Microsoft Sam voice screeching at them, accompanied by normally calm characters running around decapitating one another. Unless, well, you're like I was as a kid. We would play Mortal Kombat 3 with my uncle and beg him to do the cool fatalities. Throw him in the spikes again. Yeah. Then again, when you grow up with Don Bluth's movies and shows like Mighty Max and Reboot, you expect darker content. You don't really expect it with shows like Peppa Pig, which just so happens to be the victim of most of Momo's sightings. with the exceptions of a few Minecraft videos, which I'll get to shortly. Like the travesty that were the Elsagate Pizzagate videos, and yes, this is probably one of the least graphic and funnier looking screenshots I could find. Many of the videos would have cartoons with a very simplistic, easy to recreate style, like Peppa Pig, with characters that would look twisted and act violently, with either the mother bird superimposed over one, or popping up at random to say a disturbing message. In some of the Minecraft videos, before the Momo seed was developed, which is pretty much a mod of this creepy meme-worthy creature, a Momo-fied character would chase you around with a cell phone, with a WhatsApp located on it. Between the two of these, kids would be led to Momo's WhatsApp, where someone claiming to be this Momo creature would tell them to harm themselves. While it seems like few kids have fallen for it, it's still insanely creepy when you learn that most of the things kids were being told to do involve shunning their friends or siblings, or hurting someone. In addition, they are being threatened that if they don't do it, then Momo herself will come after them and finish the job. While I'm imagining this little statue running around squawking electronically at me while trying to trip me, that's not the scary part. If the disturbing, bloody videos were all, it would be easy to write them off as something some high school age trolls did for a kick. It's the fact that a lot of the language being used is aimed at isolating children, commanding they do harmful behaviors, and scaring them that they and their families will suffer if they talk. If that's not the most manipulative, stereotypical pedophile language I've ever heard of, then I don't know what is. And for kids who have heard this on some of these videos, whether or not they got to the creepy Momo challenge WhatsApp, it's pretty sickening. And is far too reminiscent of the stuff you would find in the old Elsagate videos. Of course, YouTube has taken steps to take these creepy Momo vids down. In fact, in the time it took for me to receive this message from K-Witch and visit the link she sent me, YouTube had already taken down the clip the guy had snagged from one of those Twisted Peppa Pig lookalike vids. The fact that they did so under a copyright strike instead of something else makes me wonder whether YouTube was just trying to prevent hysteria from this hoax of a supposed monster coming to get you, or if the people that produced Peppa Pig had lit a fire under them so they had to do something about it. In addition, YouTube has been demonetizing videos left and right that have Momo content in them in order to make the issue go away. And while this has netted some of those lookalike videos, there's still a few out there that were popping up randomly for a few weeks. That is, until the creator of Mother Bird himself stepped in. In early March of 2019, artist Keisuke Iso destroyed the Mother Bird creature. In an interview with The Sun, he stated that he never intended for his work to scare children, and that his eventual decision to destroy the statue came from the fact that it was rotting away. Iso further claimed that it was falling apart. If you had seen the state it was in, it probably would have looked more terrifying. Considering that it was made of rubber and natural oils, I kinda wonder if it wound up looking like the Hoggle puppet did after it got lost at an airport. Don't worry, he got repaired and now lives in an unclaimed baggage museum in Scottsboro, Alabama. Seriously, what don't we have a museum of here? Toenail clippings? Oh. Well, I did ask, didn't I? Do I feel bad that the artist destroyed his sculpture because disturbing individuals decided to pull an all hell the walrus with it? If the decay factor was a cover, then yes. Do I agree that YouTube should demonetize even those trying to cover the news of Momo and explain what she really is in an attempt to make viewers realize that she's not a creepy demon, but the stolen art used for demented purposes? No. But we all know the algorithm has problems, and I guess they just lumped everything together instead of trying to take their time and sort things out. Good thing I'm not yet monetized on this channel yet, eh? But you know what I do have? I finally have a Patreon, folks! That's right, my dear friends and viewers. I have started a Patreon, which you can find here at patreon.com/phantasmalpuppy. For just contributing $1 a month, you can help me continue to bring more consistent quality content to this channel. I currently have too small of a YouTube channel to monetize, and every little bit helps. Especially right now because I'm dealing with a bit of medical debt. So if you could contribute even $1 a month, that'll help me out. For those of you that contribute, you'll have access to all of my content on YouTube before anyone else. In addition, I will have polls up for some patrons, as well as certain creepypastas and true stories that I can't tell you on here because they may be too dark for YouTube. Help me reach my goals, and I'll give you goosebumps. Also, once K-Witch finally gets her own YouTube channel, and maybe a name besides the moniker I gave her, I'll post her name in the description for you all to go view her whenever she wants to post. In the meantime, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you real soon.